Hey there. Is this thing on? Hopefully, y'all can hear and see. Okay, so I think if we've got a couple people, going to give you a couple seconds to hop. We're going to hopefully get. Hey, Denise. Denise, can you hear me? Can you see me? Two questions. So let me know. Hey, we got Leanne. Hopefully, people are rolling right now. And we're hoping that you can hear and see me because I sure as heck can't hear and see me. I can see me. Can't see me. We've got Avia. Cheryl's hopefully going to join us here in a second. Yes, yes, awesome. 10 points. So everybody joining right now. Yes, thank you, Betsy. Let me know you can see in here. So this is my first time using Facebook video user, so it's a little different than my normal Zoom setup. My goal from today, hey, Kim, I'm in Nashville too. That's pretty cool. So we're going to get started. There's a lot to cover, and I want to start with everybody joining right now. I want you to do me a favor. Write in your comments, what is your number one challenge right now with your business? 3 to 5 to 7 words, not a novella from, you know, not a novella, just really it's getting leads, it's getting sales, it's marketing myself, and it's getting online. What is your number one challenge? I want to hear because that's going to give me some context and we're going to talk about it in this camera so we can hopefully get a better view. So I want to hear from you. What is your number one challenge right now? I'm going to write this down. Is number one challenge. For some reason it wants me to tag Sharon. So number one challenge. We've got leads, getting leads in the door. Do we have yourself? Marketing yourself? Is it setting an e-commerce website? So is it branding and design yourself? Is that it? I'm getting notifications. We turn these notifications off. So anyways, I want you to write down your number one. So we've got some. My hubby's board wants me to watch TV with him. Mine too. Marketing, sales, structure. So today I want to talk about a couple things. First off, the first thing I'm just going to write down. We're going to talk about. Let me see. Can I share? We're on sharing the screen. Okay, we're going to share application window. Give me 1 second. But while you're doing that, down, what is your number one challenge right now? Later. Number one challenge. Okay, we got the share. We've got our whole screen. Holy cow! That's not what we want to do. Share application window. Here we go. So hopefully we're going to keep this all on one page and see me. Setting up a website is a big step I haven't taken yet. Pricing, structure. Okay, so this is a presentation I've done before. And there's a really big, there's a lot that we're going to cover. So I've got to cover. So let me tell you about what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about 7 scientific principles based on science to help you grow your brand. Now you're like, Stæven, science, branding, what are you talking about? So believe it or not, we live in a world where things are governed by laws. Things are governed by, and I'm going to turn this off, are governed by laws and principles. You know that in architecture, you can't build a house out of ice cream or dairy floss. Like that doesn't exist. And likewise, it's one of those things that's actually governed by scientific principles. Fortunately, the status quo is that we have this industry, all these people about this stuff, and it's not really governed by any laws. And if it is, I don't know what they are. So one of the challenges talking about marketing ourselves, we want to know how does marketing actually work? How do brands grow? And what's really cool is there's a way that we can know. There's an institute in Southern Australia that's been researching this for since the dawn of time. 1902 is the last time it dates back to U.S. Patent and Trademark Office being filed. So we can research back all the way to the start of people registering brands and big companies like Mars, Target, Michaels, you name them. They're investing in this institute in Australia. And long story short, we now know how marketing, and we're going to talk about that today. So, first, I think I'm just going to keep this up. First thing is we're going to drink out of the fire hose. Let's see, green again. We're going to drink out of the fire hose. So I want you to just do your best, follow along, and there's going to be an opportunity at the end for you to fill out a quick little form and contact me and get today's presentation and get all the tips. So don't worry about writing these out. So the first one, come on. So we've got a couple. Let's go visit. Setting up our e-commerce website, structure pricing, drawing people into your website, knowing what to say. Oh, force quit. Okay, we're over. I got this written down. It's not. Okay, so we're going to do a little right now. That's probably going to be the easiest thing to do while my presentation's locked up. Let's do a quiz. Who likes quizzes? So, true or false? Differentiating your brand is a bad. True or false? Yeah, Harriet, I'm right now, so we're not going to. True or false? Differentiating your brand is a task. Got to be different. True or false? Pop it in the screen. True. If you think it's false. Loyalty. Here's some other ones. I'm gonna pop these all in here. I'm going to read these out. So these are questions that are going to give us a pulse of what differentiate brand is a task. Loyalty metrics, how many people are loyal to you, reflects the strength brand, not size. Customer retention is cheap addition. Okay. Price promotion boost, not loyal. So a price promotion doesn't boost market, not loyalty. Who we compete with depends on the positioning of our image. True or false? Mass marketing is dead. It's no longer competitive. Our buyers have a special reason for buying us. Our consumers are a distinctive type of person, and our heaviest 20% of customers deliver at least 80% of our sales. So if you think these are mostly true or false, let me know. We're going to get a couple more people's responses because I should read those. Okay, it says I'm cut out. Hopefully we can take care of that problem. I'm going to close down some programs, make sure that it is streaming for everybody. Okay. Okay, so maybe sound is cutting. Okay, let me change my sound. Here, let's change that sound. That should be better. Hopefully, this is going to be a little bit better for you. So all these sound really smart, really good, and really important, right? Let's put them back in there so we can look at them. So, differentiating our brand, loyalty metrics, customer price, and mass marketing. You got to focus on the special customer. Well, what if I told you that all of those are false? So, if you answered true to any of those things, you're operating under some false assumptions. In fact, all of those are scientifically false. So, let's talk about a good example, bloodletting. If you remember bloodletting was when you were sick, you went to actually the barber. That's why there's the red and blue twisty on the barber pole. And bloodletting. Bloodletting is a great example of false theory. Doctors and patients believed that when you were sick, you had bad blood. Actually, it couldn't be farther from the truth. There's nothing more important to your health and recovery than blood, and doctors were removing it. So, just like bloodletting, marketing has existed as a theory without fact. And so that's what we want to change today. So there's a book out there called How Brands Grow, written by the guy at the head of the Ehrenberg Institute. He's in South Australia. This is where this comes from. We talked about example before. Because marketing is a creative profession. So is architecture. Architects design places like the Taj Mahal and the Sydney Opera House, but they use their creativity with a framework of physical laws. So they design these things that won't collapse under their own weight or blow over, and they can't ignore the laws of gravity, or are they immune from physics? So just like that, marketers, even academics, like to say there's no laws about marketing. So they say that people are too unpredictable, and research shows that that's utter nonsense. And so at the end of the day, marketing is one of those things that actually exists with laws. So we have to know what those laws are. So talk about a couple concepts. I'm going to show this on the screen. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, first concept. Get this over here. Concept number one. The only goal of your brand is physical and mental availability. So the number one goal for your brand is physical and mental availability. We're going to check activity monitor here to see what's going on. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's make sure. No, looks like I'm okay. 1 second. Okay. There's not extra bandwidth getting sucked from me someplace here. Okay. Let me give it a second. So the number one goal for your brand is physical and mental availability. So let's talk about, oh, thanks, Cheryl. Okay. So let's talk about mental availability. So you got this showing you. Imagine we're talking about Chobani yogurt. Chobani. It's in your head. And then physical availability is when you go to the grocery store. Hopefully there's something left in your store. Is physical availability. So what's important is that we want to be first in people's minds, also be physically available. Okay. So that is the number one most important thing. So number one important thing in there is physical and mental availability. Oh, great, Leanne. Things are better. So let's talk about there are 7 laws of how brands grow. And we want to know about them. Oh, let's do single page. Okay, single page. So there are 7 laws of growth. The first one I want to talk about is continually reach all the buyers of the category. I'm going to take this off of sharing the screen for a second. So, continue to reach all the buyers of the category. So, I want to just ninja a second that there is no such thing as Susie Q or a customer avatar. Now, there is such a customer avatar if it's based on your product and help solve. But when it comes to demographic data, there's no such thing as an avatar. Chloe from Chicago, who's 27, shops at Renegade Art Fair, who loves Pinterest, tea, French, and Whole Foods. And many of you have probably heard people talk about the importance of a customer avatar. Now, it's great. It's really, really important to understand your market and your. However, that data is shows that Chloe from Chicago doesn't exist. In fact, the way that buyers are down is into sporadic, mild, light, mild, moderate, and heavy buyers. And each of those people that buy your products make up your market. Now, a great example is Nike. Recently had Colin Kaepernick. Try to think of industry-related examples, but a great example is Colin Kaepernick. When they announced him, some people were upset that it was him to be a spokesperson. They went and they burned their Nike. Now, those people would think are loyal shoppers, and that makes up a lot of their income at Nike. Those people who are considered their heavy buyers make up less than 1%. I'm trying to talk at the same time. They make up less than 1%. In fact, if you drink more than 2 cola beverages a year, you're considered a heavy buyer. All it takes is 2 Coca-Colas. So anyone who basically needs 3 less Coca-Colas is a light buyer. So if you're trying to sell your products to a specific type of person, you're missing out on an opportunity to sell to everybody. So holiday shows and random pop-ups, you've got sporadic buyers, you've got light, moderate. So you can sell them. And the goal is to be selling everybody all the time, not one specific type of. Okay, we're going to talk about the second one here. Share the screen real quick. The 7 laws of growth. We need to make sure the brand is easy to buy. So for the brand to be easy to buy, we basically make sure that it can be as most universal as possible. Now, if you have, and if anybody, we went to NCCA a couple years, remember when I spoke there, I talked about you may have a really specific niche of like, steampunk robot teapots. Now, stylistically, that may be a very, very small style, but that doesn't mean that there's one type of person that loves that type of style that you have. If you can communicate how your product fits in everyday people's lives, no matter what type of they are, if you can make the brand universal, you can be more appealing. Your brand is going to grow. Now, if you make your brand specifically geared towards a demographic that is based on race, some other things that you can't change, geographic location, income level, some of those things, those are ways that if you're towards those demographic data, people with eyes, like only people with products, you're making the brand, there we go. If you're making the brand universal, you can appeal as many as possible. That's law number 2. Okay, law number 3. Let's share this real quick. Number 3 is get noticed. Get noticed. When I work with clients, I do branding corporately, and then Potter, and how this kind of came out to be, and me speaking, working with people with clay businesses, is I went and just basically branded my own wares. And then a lot of my friends were saying, hey, who did your stuff? And then that started my other business, which is called Handcrafted Branding. But working in my corporate agency called Quantum Branding, working with pet care, worked with them to basically write the handbook on dry food, wet food, and treat. And we have a principle that I was shared their team, the people, is get noticed. I'm going to say a little thing right now. Unseen is unsold. And the principle of unseen is unsold is really, really important. If people don't see it, they can't. That's really what it comes down to. So this affects everything you do, from merchandising your displays, from the style on your website, from putting things on Instagram consistently. There's not going to be one product that sells amazing. At the end of the day, it's going to be you consistently having sales, promotions, putting things out available to everybody. Okay, so let's a second. We've got a couple different I want to talk about continually reach all buyers. Continually reach buyers. We've got ensure the brand is easy to buy. And then get noticed. I've got another one. This is the second most important thing today. So the first most important thing today is physical and availability. So if there's one concept, the number one concept, is and availability. Okay. The number 2 concept that if you walk away from anything today is the concept of distinct memory structures. So it's really, really important that we create a distinctive brand asset. This is 4 and 5. A distinctive brand asset, for an example, is your mark, your color, shapes, story, character, music, and sound. Those are the 7 categories of possibly distinct assets that you have as someone who play business that's marketing yourself. So think of it like being they want to plant this distinctive memory in this guy's head so that he'll make a decision later. Now think about the other movie, Total Recall. He needs to recall that memories. Right now, the goal is distinctive memory structures and recalling those memory structures. So let's think about this with some examples you can think of. Bed Bath & Blue. They've got their typeface. They have style, which is their category. You go on their website, bam, is unsold. No, that's not an issue because they're showing you pictures of everything. Okay, distinctive memory structures. They have that same brand mark on their as you walk in on their printers. Okay, so Snickers, brown packaging, blue, red. It's a specific typeface. Don, I'll recap these in 2. I'll keep recapping them as we go. So memory structures are basically your brand identity. You've got your brand mark, which you've got shapes, you've got colors, you've got typeface, story, character, and sound. So I'll show you an example all in a second here. So we want to build those brands. I'm actually going to show you an example. Let's hop over here. We're going to share screen and hopefully this. So this is. Thanks, Andrea. Yeah, that's my pottery page. Yeah, definitely. I want to show you an example of how this comes together with me. Here's the distinctive brand asset palette. Okay, these are basically the categories of assets you have at all times to build those memories. So our goal, mental and physical availability, creating memories. Now we want to recall those memories. So the goal is, if we're, say, for example, Snickers, we've got, you're not you when you're hungry. Hungry, eat a Snickers. We've got some associations with words. If I'm creating my own candy bar, I better not use brown because someone else has an association with it. I better not use that slanty typeface. Somebody else has an association with it. So the goal is to make your brand identity incredibly. I'm not showing the screen share the whole time. I'm just showing it real bit back and forth. So hopefully visible says video. Okay, you can hopefully see me. Showing the slides for a second and then coming back to you. So the first one, we want to read all the buyers of the category. They are sporadic, light, mild, moderate, and heavy buyers. We're going to ensure the brand is easy to buy, universal to everybody. We're not going to focus on demographic data. We're going to show how our product can fit universally in people's lives. We're going to make it easy for our brand to get noticed. Then we're going to use distinctive brand assets, like in that pyramid of those 7 categories. And then we're going to refresh and we're going to build those. So the next one's on there, 4 and 5. Put those in there right now. You can see refresh and build structures. Okay. And we're going to do it consistently, number 6. And then lastly, we're going to stay competitive. Okay. So if I have the, I'm going to write down for you, that's a whole lot. I just put those in there. It's continually reach all the buyers. This has to do with communication and distribution. So let's stop for a second. Let's breathe. How are you doing? Is anyone else scared? Is anyone else freaked out about losing income? My partner and I lost about $500 a month. Our Airbnb, pretty scary. We had a flood just recently in February, through no fault or circumstances of our own, but from a neighbor's construction at the pottery studio. So forms of income. Now, number 1 is basically, if we look at this, we want to avoid being silent. I know right now is really challenging, but I want to encourage you to avoid being silent. Share what's going on in your daily life. I was talking to someone today, I can't recall her name, but if I saw the post, I could. We talked about you should have 2 proven marketing channels. So I just want to demystify the word marketing channel for a second. Okay. How do you get your? Is it fairs and Is it Facebook, YouTube? Is it a newsletter and craft fair? Is it an online store and Etsy? Everybody should have 2 proven marketing channels. And this is one of those things where you just want to work on getting noticed, being post, getting traction. If you're not getting traction, if you're not getting a response, then maybe reflect, pause, and say, what do I possibly slightly tweak? Don't throw the baby out the bathwater out the window because of an economic tightening. No, say, hey, people aren't engaging as much with my Facebook posts. What can I do to get more engagement? Is it my copy? My photos? Is it my... Okay? So number 1, we want to use these rules to think about how they can help us right now. So number 1, let me bring over my notes so I don't get off. We want to avoid being silent. You want to continue your message out via your marketing. So number 2, the brand is easier to buy. Now that we know that we don't target a specific type of person, we want to talk universally to people. So let's think what's going on now. So we've got economic tightening. People are working from home. What are the concepts and that are going on that people universally understand right now? Maybe it's eating at home. Do you make functional wares? This may be an opportunity for you to run some discounts on the single person setting. Maybe it's just a bowl and a coffee cup, because that's really all you need is a low bowl and a coffee cup in my world. So I do custom dinnerware sets. If my threshold custom dinnerware set is $60 and it's $30 a bowl and $40 a plate, then my for a set is like $500 to $800. Now with shifts needs, that's not really a need right now. Eating from home is. So do you have kind of we call it like B seeds, like what are the kind of action dents that you have want to get rid of? Every Tuesday, you could throw 5 new pieces up, 10 new pieces up, 2 highly expensive pieces, 2 middle, and then several cheaper pieces every Tuesday, and build up to that on Tuesday. Why? Because you're building, reaching out for something that you're responding to. Do decorative pieces. Maybe the focus is working at home. The focus of working at home, you can focus on hygiene. I don't know if I'm saying that right, that Dutch principle of comfiness. Making spaces kind of that Scandinavian, comfy homes are our little gardens of Eden. We want to make it homey and comfortable. And right now is a great time to get rid of clutter and focus on pieces that are really important to you. Maybe you can show that a little bud vase for $10. Now, say you do decorative vases and they're $100 a piece. What if you could sell 10 vases at $10 to people that are decorative so that they could support that concept of working at home and huggy, I don't know how to say it. You'd make the sale. So look at making sure the brand is easy to buy and how it fits in their life. We want to communicate how it fits in their lives going on right now. A lot of people in marketing right now are sharing that they think people get online, push those ad spends because if your ads, your content, your messaging, your photos are not relevant to people, if I have the same picture of a bud vase and I say luxury decor 50% off, totally different than if I say make your work at home station beautiful and affordable or something like that. Totally different. Second message is going to get more traction than the first. Why? Because it's universal, reaching buyers continuously. Let's move on to this third one. get noticed. We're going to read this through the lens of online. We grab people's attention. We want to focus on them getting to know you and process the user's mind. You're going to want to do a pattern of give, ask, give, ask. 3 give, 1 ask. This is a pretty foundational principle, even with just relation friends, but we're not going to get into counseling. We're going to talk about pottery. So think about that. If you have a newsletter or posts on your Facebook or Instagram, you're going to want to give. You're going to want to show people enjoy times before you do the 50% off buy now, or whatever your ask is at the time. If you're asking for people to donate your studio right now because of economic and hardship, because that's something that some people are doing, that's fine. You want to make sure that that's cushioned with 3 photos about your studio, about what your studio offers, about what now is gone from your studio and offer. So remember, give, ask. We're going to work on getting people's attention. The way that you do that also is by using those distinctive brand assets. Okay, so that's our number 4. So right now, if you have a brand mark, if you have a color, if you have photography that you're using, use consistently. Use those brand marks. If it's signature, if you don't feel like it's commercially well designed, doesn't matter. Would I love if you called me up and be like, hey, Stæven, design me a commercial brand identity? I'd love that. But if you have something already, use it. If you haven't been using anything already, use something. Something is better than nothing. I'm going to give you a quote, right? Everyone remember, done is the new perfect. You ever see stuff online? You're like, oh, how did that? It's ugly. Done is the new perfect. There are no unicorns, only horsey meat. And by that I mean there is no such thing as a good idea. There's only execution. So it doesn't matter if you have a better idea or a better product out there. What matters is that you get something out there. You get something done. So we're going to brand out. We're going to put our mark on them if we have a stamp. We're going to just scratch one on there for right now, even if it's just your name, because your name is brand. Okay? You're going to use color, shape, typefaces, things that you have in your pocket to design. And here's the deal. You're going to do them differently. You ever notice a package and it looks slightly different? It catches your eye, but you're like, oh, that's brand. So, in fact, people do is they refresh and build structures. It's like if you drive by a sign so many times you get blind to it. It's the same thing with brands. So brands are wanting to use these mental associations, these distinct memory structures in your mind, and then they're using them, but then they got to keep them fresh. So I want you to keep your brand fresh. So you've got a certain set of colors you're using. Maybe you've got some that you use to complement it. Maybe you shift those a little bit, but you want to use these assets consistently. Okay. And I'm going to put the last 2 in here at the same time. Be consistent. Being consistent is probably more important than just coming up and being the hero. Okay. It's not about the person who has the best idea, who shows up every day for work. And you or somebody in the clay business, whether you call yourself a ceramicist, ceramicist, you know what hard work is. You also know that you have to stick with it every day. Every day I am babysitting from on the wheel to greenware to bisque to glazing, and I all the stuff that I'm sitting every day. This is the same thing with your brand. You are going to want to consider a tool, Hootsuite. Okay, anybody ever heard of Hootsuite? If you've heard of something else, go ahead and put it in the comments there. Let us know what you use to plan your social media. You can even plan your social media things like I think it's Buffer. There's some other ones out there, but plan your social media. Think of that give, ask structure. Think of making content that your folks want. Every Friday, maybe we have coffee, coffee insert. I'm trying to think of tea and pottery or tea. Maybe with Dawn, um, live wheel hour where she's throwing, or maybe with Marie Wolf. We're seeing you hand build every week, showing up just for half an hour, and that's every Friday. Every Tuesday, you may launch your sale. Here's what's in the market right now. Okay? Then Monday, Wednesday, Thursday may just be pictures of your beautiful wares. Here's this great new glaze that came out, crystal and structure, been exploring that. And so you're staying in front of people's minds. You're doing it consistently. You want to find out what is you want to find out what you can do to stay consistent in front of your customers. So if you're using a social media posting tool, here's the thing. Some people are really overwhelmed by social media. I don't have the time to sit down. I promise you, there is a time to come up with social media ideas, and then there's a time to execute it. So what you could do, you could brainstorm a list. What are your products? You could literally just write down all your products. Okay, what are my top products? And then what is my low and my high? You could literally come up and say, I show a high product. Wednesday, I show a medium product. Wednesday, I show a low product. And then I do Tuesday and my live session or whatever some highly engaging post may be. You could do that on Friday to your audience. I encourage you to spending time to brainstorm ideas for content. And you do that differently, a different time than executing it. Okay? So think about this. If you have a weekly schedule, just come up with your Monday is high product, Tuesday is low. What's new in online? Wednesday, Wednesday could be. I can't post right now. It's not letting me. Wednesday could be a low product. Thursday could be a medium, and Friday. Come up with a schedule on a weekly basis. What you know you can do. That's really important. What you know you can do. Okay. So I want to show you an example of just distinctive brand assets look like. I'm going to go ahead and show this screen, the application screen. Okay, so we talked about single page. I talked about assets here in distinctive asset structure. Okay, so I'm going to show you one that I worked on recently. This is for LGBT market, so it's a little removed from this. Okay, from clay business, but it's one that's just in front of me right now. So when I look at this page, we have the brand mark, we have the colors, we have the photography style. Okay, and so when we have brand mark itself, we have the distinctive colors that I use in there for this person's brand, and then I have what was on their website, which is the purple. Okay, and I tell them what those purple colors are. And then I have the way that I use the brand mark. If you have a brand mark, you're probably going to have it when it's used in full color and color. Okay. And then I have some images that I use regularly that they're going to use regularly with their brand when they promote it. Here's some examples of their typefaces. And then I show them what this looks like. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is just to showcase. The reason I share those assets with you is that whatever you have in front of you, those are your assets. That is your way. What did we say the number one rule was? It was high mental and physical availability. So the rule, you want headspace in people's brands. So you need headspace in brands. How do you get there? The number one way to that is to have active assets. Okay? So for you to get in people's head, the number one way to drive mental availability is to those distinctive brand assets. Scientifically speaking, so yeah, TJ, that just got invented. There's no website right now. You could totally look at. We could look at mine. Let's look at mine real quick. Bungalow Potter, real quick. And you think of okay, application. Bungalow. So right now, let's talk about the distinctive brand assets that you see on the Bungalow page. Okay, so we've got up here at the top. I think my screen is too small. I think I need to make it smaller. So we've got, there we go. We've got the logo at the top. Okay, if you'll notice, I have some specific colors that are the accent colors. Interestingly enough, most of the accent colors are what's on here. But overall, my concept is craftsman pottery for everyday living. Thanks, TJ. That's a great suggestion. So notice I've got the brand mark here. Okay. I've also got this typeface. This typeface, I use that consistently. You can see it here used in the dinnerware, kitchen and table, upcoming events. You can see it on here. That typeface is called Archer. If you look at my print materials, all my print materials use the form of Archer. So we color, and then we've got this close editorial, what I call editorial photography. I use that and showcase that. Okay. If we go here to dinnerware, I don't have much dinnerware up here. You can see some of the examples of things that are there online. I obviously am going to want to share products and show them functionally what. Here, let's go back. So you can see what it looks like when there is the view. Okay. Shows. You may have to be on desktop. Sure, y'all. You may have to be on desktop to see. Don't know. So if you go to bungalow.com, use this in example. Not trying to see stuff from another Potter. What I'm just showing you is that Bungalow Potter, you'll see a specific brand mark, a specific color, typefaces, a style of photography, and then also tone. The idea that using those distinctive brand assets repeatedly are a way to increase people's mental availability. Okay? Now, it's up to you to get in front of people and create physical availability. Yeah, Cheryl, I actually just wasn't showing up. I'm not sure. I can try it again, but if you're saying it wasn't working, I'm not sure what you're on. To go there on your own time is probably the best. So, at the end of the day, our number two things that we need to take away. One, mental and physical, I'm not going to spell it correctly, physical availability. That's the number one thing you're worried about. Yeah, Andrea, I'm going to actually up a little thing for anybody, and it'll be in the, for people who want to watch later, it'll be on here. It'll be a little survey that says, what is your problem right now? What did you think of the presentation? What was most important to you? And then would you like the slides? So I like to get feedback when I print things so that I can gear them better. So that's why questions, what your number one problem is, and what was most helpful. And then there'll be a little slot on there. So, and in fact, actually, put that in there right now. We'll do that. So as I'm wrapping here in a second, we're going to cut. So I'm putting a link here right now. This isn't a sale. I'm not trying to sell you. This is feedback for you to get in touch with me. Okay? Play businesses with Stæven. I took seconds to make it. Probably could be way better. But our number one, our number three symbol is done as the new somebody, Felicia popped up. So done is new perfect. Get out there. I put on that form. If you want to do free strategy call with me, it'll be 25 minutes. I'm more than happy to help the community. This is free. It's not a sale. What I can do is quickly, we can talk about what you got going on and then give you the opportunity to dive in deep. And you can go from there. Okay, so fill out that form. Form's going to help you out. It's going to help me out by knowing how to make my presentation better. Yeah, I know technical snafus, but done is the new. So I'd rather be online and you see me and my beautiful face to get slides that looks fancy, fancy, fancy. So at the end of the day, what I want to encourage you to do is think through those three things. Mental availability. There's mental availability and physical availability. Okay, everybody needs ma and pa. We're not getting into gender conversations here, but we're saying everyone needs ma and pa. Mental availability and physical availability. It's a little acronym to remember. And then the second is the number one way to increase ma and pa, mental and physical availability, is distinctive brand assets. So whatever you have, whatever you're using, just ask yourself, am I using things consistently? Am I speaking? Let's think through our we have our rules. Am I talking to all buyers, or am I trying to think that I have a magic unique buyer? Okay, so one, continually reach all buyers. Don't be silent. Not right now. People want to hear from you. You brighten someone's day and you don't know it. Okay? Number one. Number two, ensure that you buy for everybody. Communicate how it fits in their life. Okay? Grab their attention. Unseen is unsold. So we talked about creating a possible schedule that works for you. Brainstorm ideas first. And then after that, execute it later. Don't try doing the same. People don't pitch editorial editor and write all at the same time. No, they pitch and then they write, or they pitch the concept and then they work on it. So refresh and build those memory structures that you have already. Constantly be just massaging them. You don't want your stuff to look stale. You're going to use sensory cues that can help stay in front of people, whether that's a color people associate with you, whether that's a typeface, whether that's your signature, and you put that on all the bottom of your stuff. For some of you, you have another one, and it's the shape or specific style of your wares. Could you, if you have accomplished that? There are some people's pieces, like, I'm not gonna lie, I can look at a Stacey Morgan octopus, and be like, that's a Stacey octopus. Like, I can just tell. I have just gotten used to her slip drops and her strip trailing, her tiles with the frog. I look at them and I know that is mental availability, and she does it by having a specific style. That's cool box. So we're going to be consistent as well. Don't change things. If you haven't been doing them already, don't try to shift things now. Not the time to do that. Stay competitive. Lastly, stay competitive. Keep the brand easy to buy. Stop giving excuses for people to buy. Think ways that you can create a very easy offer. And I use the example of the $1 million bud vase or the $100 vase versus 10 mini bud vases for $10. Now, maybe your wares are more worth more than that. I know that. I'm just using it to draw examples of comparison. So we've got, I'm going to put them one more time in here. We've got 7 laws that we went through, ways for you to grow your brand. Talked a little bit about some practical ways to think through them. Avoid being silent, it's easy to sell, get noticed, refresh and build memory structures, create and use distinctive brand assets, be consistent, stay competitive. Because the number one rule is ma and pa. Number one way to grow is distance. Okay. So one more time, I'm going to put that that link in there for you for that form. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what's going on in your world right now. I'd love to hear what your number one challenge is with what you're thinking through. And we're getting ready because we started 5 minutes. So we're going to finish here. So I'd love to hear from you. Form, but hey, fill out right now. What's one thing right now? What's the most important concept for you and why? Let's take a second. We've got 4 minutes. Write down what do you think of those 7 principles. Thanks, Ken. What of those 7 principles? Share with the community who made this video after. What's the most important one? Is get noticed important? Is the most important one for you? Okay. Curious. Keep the conversation going. Would love to hear from a couple of you just before we leave. Which principle do you think is going to be the most for you? Feel free to write. I'm like the preacher. Like any hands, all eyes closed. I see hands. Any principles? Put them in the comments. So people must be that form. I think for the most people, from what I hear, thank you, Cindy, Kimmy. Oh yay, Kimmy's writing. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. I'm not sure why that happened. More than happy. Maybe push end. Hopefully this will it'll be saved and you can watch it. Scheduling your brand. I think for most of us, number one, avoiding being silent. I think that's really important right now. Nothing's better than nothing. Done is the new perfect. But also, how can I fit people's lives right now? And that's the most important thing that I think we can think through. How can we stay relevant? Are there products that you can put online? That can help. So Stacy just posted. It's time to go. Again, there's that. Would love to hear from you. Anyone who's watching this video afterwards that didn't have time today, would love to hear from you too. And feel free to continue to post in the comments. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank for all the other and leaders in our community. Yeah, TJ, appreciate you. Appreciate Cammie, Cindy, Ken, so many great today. Melanie, Tanya, TJ, you've been with us for the longest time. Melanie, I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Thank you who showed up. For all the presenters, stay some more presenters. Don't forget to don't miss the hashtag out there. Look forward to watching all the other videos here of the Clay Buddies community. I want to wrap up. I've got 30 seconds. You are not alone. Okay? If this is difficult for you, take a moment and breathe. You're not going to be able to bring your A game with your business until you're able to take care of yourself, wrap your head around your emotions, acknowledge them, and get the rest you need. So before you get ready this week to hammer it out and bring your A game, I want you to remember to hug the folks that you can right near you, time with them, and take care of yourself and rest. Okay. Thanks so much. See you next time. Until then, for Bungalow Potter and Handcrafted Branding, take care. Thanks